Hey, it's JK. Within Bloodborne there's 3 big gun weapons that require high strength to even wield. We've already attempted to beat Bloodborne with 2 of these, that being the Gatling gun and the church cannon. So it only made sense logically to use the 3rd of these weapons to bring this series to its canonical conclusion. Interestingly, this 3rd weapon is the only one that is available in the base game and is simply called the cannon. Although it has some obvious similarities to the church cannon, there are some crucial differences which we'll get into that will change how this run plays out. But before we dive in further, let's talk about another dark fantasy action RPG, this video's sponsor Mandragora. A 2.5D Souls-like with Metroidvania style exploration and a hand-painted world? Well, that certainly puts the pain in hand-painted. The game has all the great features you'd want in an action RPG like crafting armor and weapons, unlocking talent arts, equipping different skills, and some satisfying bread and butter dodge and attack style combat. There's also 6 different classes, each with their own unique talent tree, so you can really treat yourself to the right skills to build the character the way you choose. The story is also written by Brian Mitsoda, who you might remember as the writer of Vampire the Masquerade, and the story is fully voice acted as well. The game will be launching on the 17th of April. You can actually pre-order it now on Steam to receive exclusive digital rewards, as well as access to 2 preview builds of the game ahead of release, so you can play it immediately. Go check it out, it's genuinely a fun game. Thanks to Mandragora again for sponsoring this video, and now back to Bloodborne. So first, we make our character Cannon Derp and choose the Noble Scion as our class for the Blood Tinge. We get out of the starting building and grab some Quicksilver bullets, the lifeblood of this run. Now, fun fact, you actually can acquire the cannon at the start of the game if you use the wolf grab glitch to get through the gate and then run to get it from the Forbidden Woods. Or you can just use magic like me and get a wizard to give it to you. So, the first difference between this and the church cannon is the ammo requirement to fire. The church cannon costs 10 bullets while this requires 12. This may not seem like a big difference, but trust me, it is. By using some blood bullets in conjunction with the 10 that we have, we can get a shot off. The positive here is the cannon does about 25% more damage than the church cannon, so the 2 extra bullets seem like a good trade-off. Right? Well, no. At the beginning of the game, you start off being able to hold 20 bullets. You can add a maximum of 5 additional blood bullets by pressing up on the D-pad to sacrifice 30% of your health. Again, 5 is the maximum, so pressing up on the D-pad again will not add more bullets if you already have 5 in there. So, with the 20 we can hold and the 5 we just gained from the blood bullets, firing 1 shot from the cannon will leave us with 13 bullets. As we've used up our blood bullets, we can now gain 5 more, giving us 18 bullets. Firing again leaves us with 6 bullets, which unfortunately means we can't fire again because the 5 blood bullets would only bring us up to 11. So, until we can increase the amount of bullets we can hold, which requires killing a minimum of 3 bosses to get the Rune Workshop, we can only fire the cannon twice unless we can either pick up more bullets from somewhere or go back to the Hunter's Dream to restock. For comparison, the church cannon costing 10 bullets meant that we could fire 4 times with our 20 starting bullets, each shot costing 5 normal bullets and 5 blood bullets. So suddenly, that 25% extra damage doesn't look so great when we effectively have half the ammunition. So, it goes without saying we need as much damage here as possible. We start by grabbing all the bloodstone shards in the area. Thankfully, there's several just lying around. With these in hand, we unlock the elevator shortcut. But, as well as shards, we need echoes to buy bullets. At the moment, I don't want to waste shots killing enemies as no enemies drop enough echoes to buy 12 bullets. But luckily, we can use this method to keep things rolling. After doing this for quite a while, we can now use bullets to kill enemies here to get more shards. With a couple of hours of faffing, we get the cannon to +3, the highest we can get it right now. I grabbed some new drip and it's time to try our first boss, Father Gascon. Can 2 shots from the cannon defeat him? Well, let's see what the damage looks like. A normal shot does 504 damage, about a quarter of his health. We can also shoot him as he falls for instability damage, which is about 40% more. So suffice to say, 2 shots won't be enough. Also, just want to mention, many people commented on the church cannon video asking about oil urns, so let me just say now, they do not increase the damage of cannon shots, even though they probably should. The only other option for more damage now is leveling up Blood Tinge. After a fair bit of grinding, we get up to 31 Blood Tinge. The cannon only has an E scaling, so I doubt this is going to really change much, honestly. And I was right. Shooting him as he falls now does about 76 points of damage more, still nearly 300 points short of what we need. For the sake of testing, I set Blood Tinge to 99 using Save Wizard, and even with that, we're still 168 points of damage short. Has this playthrough run out of gas already? I reverted back to my 31 Blood Tinge, but now I had to make a decision. Ending the run here would be pretty weak. There's only two ways I can think of to progress. First, I could use the wolf skip glitch to get through the gate to the Forbidden Woods, where there are twin bloodstone shards allowing me to upgrade the cannon further. I didn't feel this was the right thing to do though, as having a +6 weapon this early felt kinda cheap. So I went with the second option. First, we use the cannon to blast Gascon to low health so that he transforms into beast mode. Then, we stand by this pillar here and bait him to do the high jump attack. It took quite a few tries, but finally we got him. Only he didn't fall to his death like when I've seen other people do this. Had I been Gasconned here? But after enough moving around, he finally fell. It took a good 30 seconds before he finally died, but we did it. Sort of. I take what we can get here. So, as we move on, we grab the Blood Gem Workshop, which is absolutely useless in this run. There's no gem slots on the cannon, and the gems on a right-hand weapon do not affect the cannon damage. A little further up, we arrive in Cathedral Ward. We grab another level in Blood Tinge to bring us up to 32, and now it's time for Cleric Beast. Let's see the damage. Okay, so 544 for the initial shot, and then 816 after breaking his head. Well, more leveling up it is. We get to 45 Blood Tinge now, which feels a little bit excessive, but we've only got 2 shots to get this done, so... Now the damage increase here didn't really help much, but what did help is the 10 bullets lying around in Cleric Beast's arena. This actually gave us 2 more shots, but we almost didn't need it because one of the shots did 1100 damage. Maybe I hit it directly on the head this time? The cannon has a bit of an arc when it fires and the hitbox seems a little wacky, but I'm not complaining. One more shot and we Clerock this beast like a hurricane. The main reason I wanted to kill Cleric Beast now was because it unlocks the Hunter Chief emblem for purchase. Getting through this gate into the later area of Cathedral Ward unlocks a lot of upgrades for us, such as these twin bloodstone shards. We push on ahead and get the shortcut gates open, and then head down here to blast the scurrying beasts for more twin shards. Lastly, we head to Hemwick Charnel Lane, an area that has some other useful items, such as Bone Marrow Ash to boost the next cannon shot by 40% damage, as well as of course some more twin shards. There's a total of 16 Bone Marrow Ash we can grab, which should be ample to get us to the point where we can buy more. With one last lot of twin shards grabbed, we can now upgrade the cannon to +6. Well, it's time for one of the weirdly challenging bosses of this run, the Witches of Hemwick. Goes without saying we hunters mark out and remove all our insight to get rid of the cemetery shades. Each witch has 2600 health and we do 1152 damage. 2 shots is definitely not enough to kill them. Before I get to how we deal with this, I want to dispel a myth about the witches here. The second witch does not start in the room. She only appears when the first witch drops below half health. Trust me, I spent a long time running around this room to double confirm it, and you can see this barrel break when you drop the first witch below half health because that's the second witch spawning in. That same barrel breaks every single time. Anyway, can we do more damage? Well, we can shoot this witch just as she's about to attack to get counter damage, bringing the hit up to 1382, just over half their health. If we could hit both witches at the same time and get a counter hit, it would kill them. But again, given the second witch won't spawn in till later, that's not possible. So it's back to the strat of getting the first witch to hurt the second witch with the AoE attack. It takes 6 AoEs to kill the second witch, and given their very slow walk speed, this was a long process. But with the second witch dead, we go for a counter hit on the first, and it doesn't do enough? Well, that's 8 minutes I'm never getting back. One thing I did learn is that the first witch can also hit the second with her melee attack. Look at this, she's beating the hell out of her sister. Well, with her sister dead again, we try a counter hit on the AoE this time and it again doesn't do enough. Why? And yeah, I know I could level up more, but I really don't want to do more grinding at this point. The counter hit damage does seem really inconsistent, constantly getting different damage numbers. Has anyone in a challenge run video ever spent this long talking about the Witches of Hemwick? But if you can believe it, the actual winning attempt threw another wrinkle into the mix. During all these attempts, I'd never seen the second witch actually attack or do anything. But this time, When the first witch was smacking her sister, the second witch actually attacked back. I wasn't even in front of her, so I'm not sure what triggered it. This was significant because, after the first witch took out the second, our shot was now enough to kill the first witch because of the extra health she lost earlier. What an ordeal. I'm so glad we can move on from this. But, speaking of which, one thing which you should do is consider subscribing to the channel. Many are still deciding whether to make the leap into the world of subscribers, and with your help, we can move further down the road to our goal of 200,000 subscribers. Thank you, I appreciate you all. Anyway, with this win, we can finally get the Rune Workshop tool. We grab another point of Blood Tinge, and now we need to look at grabbing some runes for more bullets. I'd rather not have to kill this innocent guy again for the one he holds. The only other option is to grab the rune up the lift from the Cathedral Ward lamp, but to get to that, we need to head to Old Yharnam and beat the blood-starved beast. We start with our usual procedure of taking out the tower gunman. We then easily unlock the shortcut. What are you looking at? Well, let's try the blood-starved beast. A normal shot does 1124 and a counter hit does 1349. Not enough to kill her in 2 hits. I'm really sorry. So after that guilt-inducing action, we now have 23 bullets giving us 3 shots of our cannon. But even with this, it will require some counter hits to deplete the 3470 health of the blood-starved beast. For whatever reason, I had tremendous difficulty actually landing a counter hit on the beast. Even landing it right in the middle of its attacks didn't seem to do it most of the time. Finally though, I figured out that my timing was actually wrong. The counter window is actually after he swung, not during his attack. With this knowledge, I was easily able to land 2 counter hits and then 1 normal hit to finish the fight, feeding my need for victory. Now we can get up Cathedral Ward to grab the Radiant Sword Hunter badge, letting us buy infinite Bone Marrow Ash. Of course, we can get another Formless Odin rune as mentioned earlier, giving us 4 more bullets. But we still need more, so it's time for some Chalice dungeon diving. First, we head into the basic Thumaru Chalice. I actually wasn't sure if it would be possible to get through the bosses, but let's see. The undead giant was no issue, and 3 cannon shots bring him down without any big issues. We pull the lever to open the door to the layer 2 boss, and this time it's the Watcher trio. Unfortunately, we weren't able to one-shot all of them with 1 hit. But that's okay, because we can group them together and fire a shot to hit them all. It's worth noting that the normal cannon's AoE works differently than the church cannon's AoE. The church cannon did equal damage to all enemies caught in it, but the normal cannon only does max damage to the enemy it hits directly, while the AoE only does about half of the damage, and it's also not buffed by Bone Marrow Ash, only the direct hit is. Luckily though, it was still enough to take them out, they didn't even see it coming. As a reward, we get the Root Chalice. This lets us create this custom glyph chalice which holds the treasure we need. We just need to pull the lever to open the gate to the first boss. But we don't even need to fight it because the area before the boss contains the Formless Odin rune we need. With this equipped, we can now have up to 32 bullets, giving us 4 total shots, the maximum we can get. Worth noting, you can only acquire 1 of each rune type per character. Remaking the dungeon just gives you a Great One's Wisdom. The only way to get multiple +5 Formless Odin runes would be by a duplication glitch or hacking with Save Wizard, neither of which we'll be doing on this run. In the meantime, let's go see what Rudolph's rabies-afflicted cousin is up to. So, a normal shot does 1116 damage, and a counter hit appears to do 1338. This means we'd need 4 counter hits to achieve victory, which is not the easiest to land. So it appears finally time to level Blood Tinge once again. This time, we get it up to 60. Let's see if this makes much of a difference. Yeah, so 26 points of damage extra per shot. Needless to say, this just doesn't appear possible, even if we had 99 Blood Tinge. I'm not sure what else I can do to improve our damage further at this stage. Let's just fire this last shot for the hell of it. What? Why did that do so much damage? Over 2,000! I did not think that shot would get us the victory. I am so confused. But we win at least.
We are born of the blood, 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 blood.
Well, 61
blood,
tinge now, and we can grab the Eye of a Blood-Drunk Hunter for DLC access, and then head into the Forbidden Woods. So here's a crazy thing you might not know. Normally I wait until Yharnam to grab the chunks needed to get my weapon up to +9, but it is actually possible to get a +9 weapon once you've beaten Vicar Amelia without using any glitches. Come on, we're about to go on a journey. First, we speak to this NPC who, as we've entered the Forbidden Woods, now gives us the Tonsil Stone. You know what they say? A tonsil stone in hand is worth 2 amygdalas. Or something, I don't know. Anyway, we arrive in the lecture building. We can exit from here to get to Nightmare Frontier. Near the Winter Lantern, there's a lower cliff with a giant scurrying beast which drops 2 bloodstone chunks, as well as another in the poison pool which drops 2 further bloodstone chunks. This will let us upgrade the cannon to +7, which also boosts the blood tinge scaling to D. For more chunks, we need to get grabbed by a different amygdala to take us into the DLC. We begin to make our way through the Hunter's Nightmare, unlocking the shortcut on the way before we blast a scurrying beast at the entrance to the cave at the end of the Blood River for 2 more chunks. We can go deeper into the cave to grab another chunk here, and 1 more here. This guy claims his cannon is bigger than ours, and I didn't stop to argue, I just ran and hid until it blew over. Down the stairs by the lamp, there's 1 more scurrying beast which drops yet another 2 chunks. But we still have more to get, so back to the Forbidden Woods. We climb up the solid snake ladder and then unlock the shortcut in early Yharnam. We blast the Blueberry Bloathead and then grab the Canehurst summons, which of course lets us get to Canehurst Castle. In the castle, there's a total of 5 chunks we can grab, including 1 on this balcony, 1 on this turret, 1 on the 2nd floor of the library, and lastly 2 from this scurrying beast on the top floor. Finally, we grab 1 last chunk here in the Forbidden Woods. That makes a total of 16 chunks, which allows us to upgrade the cannon to +9 already. With more damage and more scaling, we should be in a strong position to blast forward through the rest of the game. Well, on to the Shadows of Yharnam. So it should probably go without saying that hitting multiple shadows with each shot is going to be crucial to success here. The AoE splash damage doing so little definitely doesn't help with this. On my first attempt, I got pretty close but just didn't quite have enough to finish off the last one. The next attempt, I came so close. 2 of them remained, one with a sliver of health and one with about 20% remaining. Unfortunately, it was hard to tell which was which, and I ended up, with my last shot, shooting the weaker one with the main bulk of the damage, causing the stronger one to survive with a fraction of health. I was yearning for just a little bit more damage. One thing I found was right at the start of the fight, I could run up to all 3 of them, and as they stood close, land a shot hitting all of them. With the second shot, I took out the fireball one as well as landing some splash damage on another. Shot number 3 took a bigger chunk off the sword one and left the candle one on a sliver. I just needed to ensure I shot the sword one with the candle wielder close by, and thankfully, I did. We got even more damage here, so it was a bit of shadow overkill, but I'll take it. Up in Byrgenwerth, we blow holes in this scholar's theories before having a riveting conversation with Master Willem. At least he didn't say blood this time. Well, on to Rom. On first encounter, we have to attack her to prompt the fight to begin, but sadly that first hit doesn't do any damage, so we Hunter's Mark out. Coming back in, she's already aggroed, and the good news is our shots do a mega amount of damage. This only took 3 shots to kill her, which I was very happy to see. Spider? I barely even know her. After questioning whether I believed if they put a man on the moon, we head back to the Hunter's Dream and level up to 64 blood tinge. Thanks to our Bloodstone chunk mission earlier, I could briskly run through Yharnam, only stopping to drop down and get the Upper Cathedral Ward key. Before proceeding with the main story, let's clear up the optional bosses. We go to say hi to Paarl, but it was a rather brief encounter as 3 quick shots to the face turn him from a dark beast to dark deceased. Amygdala was even easier honestly, 1 shot did over half her health. 1 more shot disarmed this eldritch horror for good. As well as bosses, we still needed to grab some key items, so we grabbed this one from the abandoned old workshop, and then head back to the clinic to join Yosefka's Discord to get another. Grabbing these might be wishful thinking though. Alright, let's head to the upper ward now. Thankfully, the cannon cleans up these cloaked calamari clowns with 1 blast, giving us the orphanage key. We easily proceed to take on the first boss of this area, a bunch of Smurfs in a garden. Papa Smurf was not impressed by me shooting him in the face and demolishing half his health. Despite Smurfette jumping in the way and blocking my second shot, the third shot comfortably Gargamelted his health with no trouble. The second boss is Ebrietis. Unfortunately, like Rom, she requires an initial attack which will do no damage to trigger the fight, so a first encounter victory isn't possible. But I tried out my remaining 3 shots anyway just to see, and yeah, that damage is definitely gonna do it. Let's restart this fight so we get our full 4 shots. Everything went smoothly for the first 3, no issues landing them, and the damage was good. For the final shot, I was waiting a bit for the right moment and did nearly get killed when she followed up the projectile rain with the charge, but thankfully survived and landed the final shot to kill this macaroni-faced monster. I was glad to move past her. Hey, 69 blood tinge. Nice. The only other optional boss left in the base game was Martyr Ligarius, and I think I might need to come back to this one. We would need to do 2,270 damage per shot to kill him, and most of our shots didn't do anywhere near that. I did get a hit that was close to this with an instability hit towards the end, but it still wouldn't have been enough even if I landed 4 of them. So instead, let's fight the boss with the best drip in the game, the One Reborn. Given this boss has over 10,000 health, it could be an issue, but thankfully, we can break its head for extra damage. I did run out of shots with some health still remaining, but as luck would have it, this is another boss fight that has bullets in the arena. With the 4 we have remaining and the 10 we pick up here, we can actually get 2 additional shots easily enough to score the victory, even if it did cost me an arm and a leg. Let's press on. We speed through the Nightmare of Mensis and get ready for Nicolas Cage. This small room with him is definitely not what I'd describe as being trapped in paradise. As the face-off commenced, I took my final shot and came up snake eyes. My chances of victory were gone in 60 seconds. So each shot to him does around 1100 damage, about 20% of his health. As such, 4 shots won't be enough to finish him off. Again, our luck holds out as there are 6 bullets lying around here, giving us 1 extra shot. This time, I cheese him from above though because, as always, he deserves it. With his defeat, we can drop the brain and grab the blood rock to max upgrade our cannon at last. I also blasted the hell out of this choir intelligencer from on this ledge. Who's the smart one now? Not me, apparently. Well, Mergo's wet nurse, the boss that stopped us in our tracks on the church cannon run. Can we do better with the cannon? First up, we upgrade it to +10. So, as with last time, the best damage we can get is shooting the wet nurse when she flies towards you, which does 2,431 damage. She has 14,000 health, so I think you can see that 4 shots won't be pulling out the victory. But is there a way to get more damage? Well, when I fought this boss on the church cannon run, I thought I had exhausted all options, but there's actually 2 ways I could have potentially achieved victory that I didn't think of at the time. One of them is that when the nurse drops below 70% health and does the clone attack, the clone actually can also take damage that affects the health bar, meaning if they're close to each other, we could in theory hit them both to do more damage. With the church cannon, because of the way the AoE works, we would actually be able to do double damage and it would likely be possible. But with the normal cannon, because of the much lower splash damage, I don't think this method would work. I did land a hit on both of them, although I forgot to put on the bone marrow ash. We got 2256. For the sake of argument, we know the ash adds 40% more damage. This would bring it up to 3,158, so even 4 shots of this wouldn't get the job done. But 4 shots with that of course wouldn't even be possible because we'd need to do 2 normal shots to bring the nurse down to below 70% health, thus causing her to do this attack. And no, going to 99 blood tinge wouldn't help as that only adds about 60 more damage. So, what's the second option? Well, it's to do with picking up bullets from outside the fog gate. In Bloodborne, you can't drop items on the ground like the other games, but there is a workaround. First, fill up your storage with the maximum amount of bullets. In Micolash's arena, there's 2 lots of 6 bullets, and if your storage is full, then you can't pick them up, but the game will move them to underneath your character. This allows you to slowly move them a couple of steps at a time. If you exit the game at any point, the bullets will disappear, so no save stating allowed. Now the other issue though, we would need 6 shots to kill the nurse, and this pile is only 6 bullets, meaning we'd have 5 shots total. There is another pile of bullets, but I used them to kill Micolash, and as far as I know, it's not possible to kill Micolash with only 4 shots from the cannon. The process of moving these bullets is extremely slow, and what's worse, there are enemies on the way which I can't kill because that would waste a precious cannon shot, and I can't return to the Hunter's Dream to stock up because then the bullets would disappear. An alternative is to get these eye pigs to kill the shadows of Yharnam here, who have a 20% chance to drop 3 bullets. If several of them did this, we could move the bullets in the same way to outside the fog gate, but it would require 4 of them to drop bullets at the same time. We could improve this chance by leveling the arcane stat for higher item discovery, but of course we can't wear the eye rune as we need all our rune slots for bullets. I want to credit another YouTuber known as Abyss, who did actually manage to kill the wet nurse using a cannon with this method. He spent over an hour moving these bullets into place, which shows that he's an absolute madman. It's worth noting that he did clear the area of enemies using the saw cleaver beforehand, so doing this on a strict cannon only run like we're doing now wouldn't be possible. Check him out anyway, links in the description. In the meantime, let's try Ludwig just for the hell of it. So yeah, it goes without saying this wasn't even remotely close to possible, which is to be expected with his 16,000 health. But I actually came to the DLC for a different reason, as there's one last bit of discourse I need to settle. When I did the church cannon video, I got a lot of comments mentioning a certain glitch which involves the whirligig saw. By using the whirligig saw's L2 attack and quickly switching to the cannon, you can keep tapping L2 to fire the cannon infinitely without using any bullets. With this, you could pretty easily beat the entire game. But my question is, what's really gained by this? Part of what I enjoy about these kind of challenges is working around limited ammunition with stuff like counter hits or additional bullets in the arena, etc. This glitch effectively removes all limitations to what you can do, and at least for me, kind of takes the fun and problem solving elements out of this challenge completely. So that's why I never used it before, but yeah, if you deem this as valid, you can indeed beat the whole game every boss with the cannon. As for me, this is as far as we go. I tried Ligarius again, but after several more attempts of not getting even close to killing him in 4 hits, I figured this was as good a place as any to lay this final big gun run to rest. However, for using the whirligig glitch to kill the wet nurse, I had to take my penance. I submitted my life to Gehrman, who severed my head from my body with a precise movement, and we wake up in Yharnam with a terrible hangover. So, that concludes the run. I hope you enjoyed the video, a bit more theory heavy than usual, but interesting I think. Until next time, I've been JK Leeds. See ya, and have a good one. Just want to shout out Mandragora again for sponsoring the video. Be on the lookout for the game on April 17th, and don't forget to pre-order for those rewards.